It's the end of 2024. 2024 was really a doozy. As we head into 2025, for most of you that are investors, syndicators, sponsors, operators in the commercial real estate industry, trying to figure out exactly what are we forecasting about the five big things on the horizon for 2025. So I've got five hot takes about what to expect in 2025. So sit back and listen to exactly what our opinions are. These might not necessarily be your opinions, but these are our opinions about what to expect in the coming year in 2025. First and foremost, we're going to see a change at the Securities and Exchange Commission. Our colleagues and the commissioners in Washington will likely have a radical or a different change in the regulatory outlook and framework for what the SEC is doing will likely change. That happens every time there's a change in administration. So with a change in administration in the White House, there will likely be a change at the commission. That means that the Republicans in this case will have three commissioners. The chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission will be appointed by the incoming president, and that will go through Senate confirmation. So you can expect our first hot take that the Securities and Exchange Commission will change the existing commissioners. You should not expect all of the existing commissioners to remain with the commission, and that will change with the incoming administration. Number two, just hot off the presses, there has been a federal court judge in Texas has ruled the Corporate Transparency Act is essentially has stayed enforcement of the obligation for people to comply with the Corporate Transparency Act. Many of you will recall the Corporate Transparency Act was an act that recently enacted by Congress that required you to disclose essentially all of the members or the controlling members of every entity that theoretically you owned out there. It, for a lot of people, it infringed upon certain privacy rights, financial right of privacy, the right of anonymity in states in which afforded anonymity for filing entities such like limited liability companies. Well, a Texas court, a federal court, has agreed and has actually issued a preliminary injunction, which means an injunction stopping the legal enforcement of the Corporate Transparency Act. And the ruling is essentially twofold. One, the judge decided that states that have rules associated with forming entities should not be infringed by the Corporate Transparency Act. And two, states that allowed anonymity, like Wyoming or Nevada or other states, the Corporate Transparency Act essentially violates their ability to provide that anonymity for people that form and register. So our second hot take is the Corporate Transparency Act. It's not officially dead. It is pushed on pause, and those of you that were scrambling to get your filings on place by January 1, 2025, have some hope that you theoretically won't have to comply with that. But you need to stay tuned because there could be appeals and there could be a reversal, and certainly the Supreme Court could weigh in on that issue at a later date. Hot take number three, I expect the Fed to continue to lower interest rates. Now, will it be as aggressive as they did when they raised rates starting in March of 2022? The answer is no. I don't expect a 12 significant rapid rate decreases, but I do expect to see some decrease in the interest rate, which for most of you that are buying and selling real property or real assets around the country and you're using leverage to do so in part for those transactions, it's super important because finding manageable debt to acquire assets is something that is significant. It's a foundational principle for a lot of people that are looking to buy and sell assets in the commercial real estate space. So stay tuned. All of you, I'm sure, do on a regular basis from the standpoint of looking at what the Fed is going to do, but we expect the Fed to continue to lower rates. Our hot take number four. So most of you that are in the space know that a lot of lenders are facing a maturity wall. That means that existing loans that are on their existing bridge platforms, many of them are in the floating debt rate space, are maturing. That means that the existing loans that you still have in place. If you acquired a loan between 2019, 2020, you're getting close to what that maturity wall looks like, and you're going to need to modify and or restructure that debt through either your existing lender through a modification process, or to be able to source new debt from a refinance perspective, or to enter into sale and actually dispose of those assets. So if you're still thinking about what you should do, don't wait to start that process. Start thinking about whether a modification might be appropriate for you, whether a refinance might be appropriate for you, or whether you're in that position of you being forced to essentially sell an asset that otherwise you might want to hold in a high interest rate environment. But you have to do something. So sitting and doing nothing actually is a decision, and that is sometimes the worst decision. So if you need help with that, please call our office and we'd be happy to give you a consultation in connection with that. And number 5, our last hot take is that creativity and action are still going to be key deciding factors for your overall success in 2025. If you've listened to me at any time, you know that paralysis by analysis, or people that procrastinate, that kills deals. So if you're somebody that is still underwriting deals and you're trying to obtain deals, keep doing that, but actually take some action. Either reject deals that don't meet your underwriting criteria, or move forward with confidence, knowing that you're going to try to get some deals under contract in 2025. With the Fed's increase lowering of rates, we should see within 6 months or so that filtering into bridge products and the overall lending environment. And that lends itself to people achieving success that actually take action. So